Hey guys, just wanted to jump on here and cover this little not so breaking news anymore. But I'm sure you guys have seen this if you guys are on social media. Obviously, you guys are on YouTube watching this. So I'm sure you've seen stuff going around, but this dual threat fishing league stuff is kind of crazy. So just to recap what I know, I guess these guys, the owner has been planning this for a year, I think, 2025, working with some pro fishermen and stuff like that. And I know so they had two events. They had one at Okeechobee, I believe, and they held that right at the Martins Ranch there that's on the water, and they had that one, and they had a second tournament, and I guess that's when all the stuff went crazy. Guys weren't able to cash their checks, and the owner was telling them not to cash their checks after a certain day. And I guess there's a whole bunch of backstory stuff coming out now. And as you see on the page, this is just a Google search for dual threat fishing. These are not good stories. This outdoor life story I'm going to cover. I'm going to go through that. I think that's a pretty good story that goes across some of the fishermen that have been talking about it, some of the bigger YouTubers and stuff. But and Scott Martin's in there talking about it. So there's their Instagram page, and this is kind of interesting. So I went down here and I was like, well, let me check out their website. So you click on results, file not found. I'm going to delete results out of there and try to go to the main page. Yeah, nothing. Didn't think so. So I guess this guy's like a con artist or something. And then there's a bunch of videos covering it. There's a schedule. Obviously, you can't get there, but there's some other YouTube videos going on there. I'm sure you guys have seen them all, and I've watched some from the anglers that actually fished there, and some of the top finishers, and and it's just crazy. So yeah, you go over to their Facebook page, and Facebook page is still up. They got quite a few followers. I mean, he had done some promotion and stuff. I'm sure he was trying to get some big sponsors, but I think his goal all along was to scam these anglers. It's just crazy. One of the biggest, supposed to be one of the biggest team trails ever, and sounded like a great deal here. Check out these comments. I was reading through these yesterday. And 1 week ago, just curious, has everyone been paid yet? Nope. From Blake. And then they've got some social media posts going on here. But this is just nuts how he scammed all those guys, all those anglers. Yeah, I'll move on to this dual threat fishing article from Outdoor Life. I think they covered this pretty good. There's your champs right there. I think that was was that the second tournament? First tournament on Lake Okeechobee. They received big novelty checks, but their real check. Okay, so the first checks never cleared. I wonder if those guys even showed up for the second tournament. I don't know. You can't see the results because the web page is down. But yeah, so those guys won the first tournament and never got their $100,000. Wow, big money involved here. Yeah, you go through. I already covered this. That they just cover, the scams. And I did watch Scott's video, and Scott, that's he was straight to the point. He's pretty clear cut, straight to the point. He held that I don't know if he worked with them or not, but they agreed to hold that tournament there at the Martin Ranch down there on Okeechobee. But he's calling it a $1.5 million scam, and I'm wondering if that's the season total or what's going on there. So I guess 100K was the team that finished first in every tournament. I don't know how many tournaments they had scheduled, but they had 8 tournaments right there, 800 grand, plus all your however many spots he was paying down. And these guys are angry, rightfully so. But yeah, here these are great headlines. Bad checks and a bunch of excuses. So, like I said, I think this guy had the the intent. Just my opinion, just had the intention of scamming all these guys out of their stuff, out of their money. These anglers, you guys know, tournament fishing isn't cheap. These guys go down there for a week or 2 weeks before. I don't know what the rules were for this league. Are were not are. If they had a week to fish or whatever, or if they could go down there for 2 weeks, I don't know. But these guys are spending money on hotel rooms or Airbnbs, whatever, gas every day, going to try to find fish. You guys know how expensive that gets, even for local tournaments. It's pretty crazy. But 6 tournaments, there it is. 6. So you're talking 600K just for first place on 6 tournaments. Yeah, so it probably is 1.5 total payouts throughout the field through 6 tournaments. So I guess initially they had asked the league asked the anglers to pay $5,000 in entry fees for all 6 tournaments up front, and then the league came back and said no, there's a no entry fee policy, which added to the excitement. Obviously, if I'm a pro guy and this is big money for no entry fees. And I don't know, was this invite only? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if it was invite only. I'm sure it was. If they're doing no entry fee, it was invite only. So, and I'm wondering if he was trying to get a big sponsor lined up and that fell through, or he just had every intention of keeping money. So 6 to 10 anglers had already sent in deposits. Oh, so that guy's got money from these anglers and didn't pay anything out. Yeah, no wonder he disappeared. Martin explains in the recent video his own theories about the scam, and he thinks Philip was trying to run. He told the anglers he had investors. Yep, that confirms it. And he even mentioned having tournaments streamed on Netflix. Wow, big time. Big promises, though, that obviously never happened. And then, yeah, January 21st to the 23rd, Okeechobee tournament. And Matt and Leif Messer were supposed to win 50 apiece, 100 grand total. Brothers got the novelty checks and their actual checks never cleared. That is wild. I've heard of checks not clearing and stuff like that, but it smaller time tournaments, not these big pro tournaments. Okay. So I guess there was excuses upon excuses going around. So the investor never came, obviously, and he was saying the investor was out of the country. Just what a shame. Just scamming these guys. All that money all that work they put in to finding those fish, and I don't know if those guys are local or not, or whatever. So I guess this guy had disappeared. Like, no one can get a hold of him. People think he's got a fictitious name going on. All this is alleged. I don't really know. This is just opinion. But okay, so Chapman was actually advising Phillips and helping promote the league. Oh, and then he cut ties with him after all the stuff happened, all the backlash. Nobody has been paid, no deposits were returned, and now I've been blocked, or Ethan's phone number has been turned off. Chapman explains in another video. There's no communication at all. Just bad news. Oh, there's another dude covering it. I haven't watched that video. I'll check that out. Okay. I guess there's social media stuff going around with his picture and stuff like that, looking for him. Information about the man in the photo. Okay, that's what was posted on that Facebook page I was just at. Currently trying to find information on this guy, Skeeter Wayne Crosby. I don't know who that is. A large amount, 30 checks have bounced. $700,000. So that must have been the two tournaments combined with 700 grand. Wow. So he was only two tournaments in. I mean, obviously it's shut down now. Two tournaments in and he had $700,000 bounce. Yeah, I don't know if he's got a warrant. I don't know if they say here, but if he's been booked, if he's actually incarcerated, he will be in the computer database. Okay. There's the news editor, Dak Collins. Wow, pretty crazy stuff, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. A lot of people have been covering it. I'm late to the party, but I just, I was just scrolling and doing some movement on the internet here the other night and just kind of reading about it. It's just pretty crazy. I feel bad for the anglers. I mean, they were sucked into sounds like a huge scam, unless he did have a multi-million-dollar sponsor lined up and it backed out. But why would you even start what I want to know is, why would you even start the tournaments if you knew your sponsor was going to be no good, or your investors or Netflix or whatever was going on? It sounds like all talk, really. All right, just a quick one, guys. Just wanted to cover that story and hear your guys' thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Like always, like and subscribe. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.